Well, this is the speech about my country. Actually, this speech is special because everyone has talking about our countries. Actually, Mexico has, well, in my opinion, it's one of the most beautiful countries around the world. We can find different things like beautiful beaches, traditional costumes, beautiful places. We can find anthropological places, modern places. But other important thing is Mexico has one of the most wide biodiversity. So it's possible to find many kinds of animals or plants along the country. So that means the resource that we can get many things, it's very, very wide. So, but in the last years, now Mexico is famous by the violence, for the crime, for the cartels war. Actually, just in the last year, we can find 13, when it was the 13,000 deaths. In the past 6 years, 100,000 deaths, more like in the same time in Iraq, it was 50,000 deaths. So the question is, there is a possible solution. Actually, I was taking the same question that Alberto said in his presentation. One possible answer is the education. If you can have educate people, it's the base for the development in a country. For them in Mexico, in these years was applied the new educational reforms in order to increase and in order to improve the education. Why it's the reason to apply this kind of reforms? Well, because Mexico has the last rank in education according to the OECD. It's an organization for economic cooperation and development. Actually, it's not good. So, well, for them, Enrique Peña Nieto, it's the current president in Mexico, proposed new reforms. These reforms mainly focus in the evaluation to the teachers. Well, who is Enrique Peña Nieto? Enrique Peña Nieto won. Actually, it's difficult to talk about this person because he won the last elections last year. Actually, many people thought, and include me, he won by electoral fraud. Actually, he used money from different dark fundings. One of them is from Televisa. Televisa is the largest mass media company in close to the global television in Latin America. So, for them, other important thing, if we want to talk about education in Mexico, is the CENTE, is the National Union of Education Workers, is the largest trade union in Latin America. There has over 1.4 million of members in that union, so they receive a lot of money every year. So that means the teachers, well, the teacher has have money to improve their skills every year. But the main problem with this union is her leader. So Elvester Gordillo is the person who has been leader for 30 years. Actually, we can see, well, I am showing some photos with the last 5 presidents in Mexico, but in February of this year was arrested by corruption. So actually, the main problem in Mexico is this union, because the union receives the money, but they don't need to show about what is the how distribute the money with the teachers. Well, there is an alternative in Mexico about this union, is the CNTE. It has less members, 300,000 members. Mainly the members are from the south of Mexico. And they are mainly against of the new educational reform. What are the highlights of these reforms? Well, the first one is the rules to hire teachers. That means that there are new rules, there are many restrictions to hire new teachers. The second one is the evaluation of these teachers, That means every year, 2 times by year, the teachers must approve some exams, some tests, in order to keep their jobs. So that means if you don't approve the test, you can lose their position their position as a teacher, and you lose all the right laboral. So other important thing is improving the infrastructure for the schools, because in many states practically there is no schools. There are an attempts to have a school, so that is complicated to give classes in this kind of classroom. Other important thing is the census, because actually currently we don't know how many teachers there are in Mexico. We don't know how many students there are in the different levels in Mexico. And maybe one important thing is try to implement a healthy food in the schools, no more junky food. For that reason, because many people after to see these reforms, thousands of teachers gone out in a strike, mainly from the second union. They worked from their state to the Mexico City, and they occupied the main central square. I can show in this picture how are many house campaign occupying a very big central square. And then they were blocking the access to the airports and the most important highways around all the Mexico City. But 2 days before to the Mexican Independence Day, the police restrained the teachers using brute force. Actually, I didn't want to put other kind of photos, because you can find in an internet more photos, more no specific. Well, they show how was the brutality to the teachers. Actually, I want to show the police when before to the remove the teachers from the main square in Mexico. So yeah, this is a photo after to remove. Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. So one education analogy that I want to show with this picture is education. We can think is a bus. In the bus has the all the infrastructure, and you can find the highway. It's the book you show to run in order to get best development in a country. And the driver is the teachers. They drive the bus to the correct highway in order to get to improve the condition in a country. We can think that this is for a country in the first world, and this one is for the Mexico. Actually, the reforms is just to improve the driver, but not the educational system or the hardware. Well, in summary, yes, Mexican educational system needs a very important reform, but not like the president proposed 10 months ago. They must improve the infrastructure in order to have better schools, better conditions to give classes. Actually, other important thing is to improve the salaries for the teacher. Actually, it's very low compared to the other countries. The final comment is, actually, the politicians want to start a new privatization process. One of them is education. The second one is other important thing, the oil and the healthcare system. So, yeah, actually at this moment in Mexico there are transition and many people are fighting in order to against to this kind of privatization of the many things. Well, thank you so much.